To the freestyle yesterday. You can tell us a little bit about that. It was to do with the frequency, was it?
Yeah, something to do with the frequency that they had on the what's it?
I think it's 800 megahertz.
That's
is
right.
the frequency from the transmitter. Just like we're wearing now in the studio, we have these little boxes with earpieces, and it's a radio signal which transmits what we're hearing and what you're hearing to us, so we can monitor what's going on. Well, the Free Flyers, they use the same system so they can hear the music for freestyle. Now, yesterday we had the problem with the frequency being, unfortunately, on the same channel as
Exactly,
4G here in Spain.
So that meant that you had blocks, pretty much some blocks from from anybody using their phones or whatever throughout the building, which gave us some technical issues for the freestyle. They couldn't actually hear the music. I think the music actually would have cut out.
They've been working on it overnight. Looks like we've got a fix for today. So we're going to be bringing you the rounds of freestyle to music today. That's going to change the schedule a little bit, bring you more information on that as we go on. Right now, FS Female.
So in the tunnel now, we've got the Vosvin girls. So as this is round 22, 21, 13. It's a triple blocker. So again, this is one of the ones that the judges actually breathe a sigh of relief because they're like, well, okay, we don't have to watch this 4 or 5 times. It's a working dive. As you can see, this is block 13. Just closing block 13 now, and the girls executing it really well. 22. Really good job. And 21. So again, this is one of the ones we had this yesterday. We had triple blocker. We've got 2 triple blockers, round 6 and 7. At least round 6 is a straight up triple blocker. Round 7 does have a slot switcher in it for the front piece. But the girls look really happy with that. Really chuffed.
Great, good start for the girls. NFTO just lining up there. Great shot of Anna Hicks. Anna doing great jobs in Dubai at the moment with the local talent. I organised the big way jumps for the local jumpers, and Anna's putting together this great schedule of 4-way training, putting together teams in the tunnel and in the sky.
That's good to see. Anna's very much fully into the sport, very dedicated in what she does, takes everything very seriously. The team in general are training hard at the moment. Here we go. 22. The girls had a slow start on round 1, but have been gradually bridging that gap to the French girls, the Wimby French girls, in first place. And they left with their heads held high yesterday. Really chuffed with the latter few rounds that they had. Those fast, random rounds.
Wow. Everything they were doing looked first class, top world class action.
And they compete at world level. I'm really excited to see how they get on in Australia. This is the UK's outdoor team. They're going well here. This again is a triple blocker, but it has a nice flow to it, as we can see just from the Vosvin girls and from an FTO. So here we go, close the 21 into the 13 and an out time. Next in we should have Wimby French girls.
Just give a few shout outs, Ray, to people checking in with us here. We've got Kevin McCarthy, Good Warning, and Will Cook and Tim Alcott watching as well back in the UK. Very early for them, it's an hour behind us, so it's 7:30 here, 6:30 for those guys, and I think Kevin's out in Thailand. Wimby French girls.
Yep, they're about to get in. A shout out for Victor Milan Mono-Schultz. Yesterday sent a message quite early in the morning, so there's your shout out this morning. And next in we should have the Wimby French girls. There's Gail there, just with her hand on her visor. I spoke to her yesterday after the competition. I said, if Pamela wants to take some more time off, she's doing a great job filling in.
Talking of great French talent and French skydivers, if you can, just have a Google and have a look on the Soul Flyers page with Fred and Vince on Conan over in the States. Another great interview. They've been on the Conan show a few times with Eve Ross's Jetman project, and this project they did here in Ampere Brava, well, in Norway actually, where they were base jumping off the mountain and then going into the plane from here. Mike Zulu, the Pilatus porter, which unfortunately took an accident on landing here at the end of last year, and it's really sad because it was coming up this year to its 50th anniversary. Are they going to get it repaired in time? Are we going to have a big party for Mike Zulu? Great aircraft. I'm sure many people watching have had a few skydives out of that in the past. You must have jumped that Pilatus.
And I was pretty sad when I heard that had happened.
Yeah.
Really sad.
And good job to the pilot bringing it in there.
Amazing.
Lost power on landing, and Phil Bovia, great guy, skydiver and pilot extreme, who was part of that project with Fred and Vince, saved as much as he could on landing here. Back to the 4-way and Ray Ahmed.
Yeah, just a slight delay here, waiting for the French girls to get in. But generally, you know, it's early in the morning. Tunnel's just getting warm.
And I can do a couple of more shout-outs. Ray, very good morning to Steve Ward and Jim Doherty. He said, win games! Exclamation, exclamation, exclamation. Let's do this, guys, he says. So a very good morning to everybody watching around the world. Yesterday, we had over 50,000 views on the live stream worldwide, which was absolutely amazing. At any one time, I think the peak views are about 600 or 700 people watching at once. It is big now. It's big, popular stuff. We know we get the multi-million views. It's the finals day. A 3-day event, unusual as well for a tunnel competition to go over it into 3 days, but there's that much to do. Starting this morning, 7 a.m. live. We're going to be on till, what time do we finish tonight?
Maybe about 11 or 12.
Maybe about 11 or 12. And we're changing it up a little bit as well with the way we do the awards ceremony. Normally with a tunnel competition, at the very end, there's a break and then people gather back for the awards. I think here we're going to be trying to do the awards as we go through the event, as each event finishes. Can you tell me a bit about that, Ray?
Yeah, I think what they're trying to do is, because it's running quite late through into the night, they want to make sure that, at least because we've got a lot of kids here competing, and I think the idea is that, you know, the kids get some break, we get to see them get their prizes, you know, and then they can go and get some rest, because it is running quite late. And then obviously we'll finish up, I think, after the children's events and the prizes have been handed out. We'll have the adults after we're done with the competition.
Well, another thing we're doing here at Win Games 2018 is just giving you more and more information, up in the level of how we explain all the different disciplines, from the relative flying we're seeing now through to the dynamic and the freestyle and the solo speed. Win Games here, Windor, have worked hard with Vera, who's been putting together these explanation videos, and check them out. Her presenting talent is incredible. She looks really good on camera.
I think we've lost our seats in these chairs now. You know?
Absolutely, yeah.
She's doing a great job.
So I've told her to send these videos off to local TV stations. She's got a job in the future there as a presenter. So well done, all the Windor team putting that together. It's a big operation to bring this live stream to the world. We've got a gallery right in front of me and Ray now with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people there. Vision mixers, audio mixers, slow-mo, replays, recorders. Director Sergio there is controlling all the action. Then into the tunnel, we've got Anne Maxwell and her team who are controlling the flow of the teams and Manifest, getting everybody in the right place at the right time. The office staff there as well, making sure that all the money's through.
It's such a slick operation. I mean, it's great. You know, these guys get in, they do everything, plug things in, press a few buttons, and we're off. And all we have to do is talk for 12, 13 hours. But it's brilliant to see exactly what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, to bring all this to you, it doesn't come cheap. Somebody's got to pay for it. So let's check in with our sponsors. Thanks.
Si realmente crees en ello, cualquier cosa es posible.
El FS, o vuelo en formación, es una disciplina de vuelo en la que 4 atletas realizan movimientos en posición horizontal. La disciplina consiste en realizar 10 rondas de 35 segundos cada una, en la que los atletas deben realizar el mayor número de movimientos posibles dentro de estos 35 segundos. Los movimientos a realizar están previamente establecidos antes de la competición mediante un sorteo. Existen 2 tipos de infracción en el FS, por omisión y por infracción. Por omisión es olvidar alguno de los movimientos obligatorios a realizar, por lo que se penaliza al grupo volador. Por infracción es simplemente no haber realizado correctamente alguno de los movimientos obligatorios o agarres. Si te ha gustado este vídeo, no dudes en darnos like, suscríbete al canal y síguenos en nuestras redes sociales. El VFS, Vertical Formation Skydiving, es una disciplina de vuelo en la que 4 voladores realizan movimientos en posición vertical. La disciplina consiste en realizar distintas rondas de 35 segundos cada una. Los movimientos a realizar están previamente establecidos antes de la competición mediante un sorteo. Existen 2 tipos de infracción en el VFS. Por omisión, olvidar alguno de los movimientos obligatorios previamente establecidos, y por infracción. La infracción consiste en no realizar correctamente alguno de los movimientos o agarres. Si te ha gustado este vídeo, no dudes en darnos like, suscríbete al canal y síguenos en nuestras redes sociales.
And a very good morning. Welcome back to the Red Bull studio here with me, Regan Tetlow, Ray Ahmed, bringing you the Formation Skydiving and the VFS today to get the morning underway. The finals are coming for all the events. We've got the Freestyle Juniors and the Freestyle Open. Got the solo speed, the 2-way dynamic and the 4-way as well. It's a full-packed day of action. You can check out all the results that we've got on the in-time scoring page and of course on the website of this beautiful tunnel. It's window-realfly.com, and of course check out the Facebook page to the Win Games community. Loads of information for you there.
It was great. I mean, yesterday was a great day. I know it's a 3-day event we've got now, but there were so many people in last night. It was phenomenal. I'm just wondering what's going to happen today. But also being a weekend and everybody, more people filtering in later on today, like to watch the freestyle and the battles going on with the 2-way and the 4-way speed. Where's everybody going to go?
I don't know. It is standing room only when it gets full in here. I was trying to get quick. I had a 1-minute break and I had to get to the bathroom and back, and there was 7 people sat in front of the bathroom door. So I had
Really?
to hop over the top of them. But the atmosphere really does get good. People were just loving it. You could hear the cheers and the applause. What was your favourite bit from the free fly stuff?
I really enjoyed the battles, and I really enjoyed watching the 2-way battles that were going on. And we got to see the good thing I like about the battle setup and the way that how the competition format actually is for the 2-way is that some teams can make mistakes in the earlier rounds.
Yeah.
You know, they can make mistakes in the speed routines, but you really want to see their free routines as well. And we saw that yesterday with the Hurricane Factory team, in the fact that we got to see their free routines several times because they made a mistake, but they worked their way up through the rounds in the battle rounds. And it was fantastic. Got to see their routine like 3 times.
Star Wars, to the tune of Star Wars. Very good morning to Phil Curtis, who's watching, and Lisa Hernandez-Goa, the first person to fly freestyle to music in Canada quite a few years ago. Beautiful Lisa, good morning to you, mi amor. And I'll tell you something else. Phil Curtis gave us some information yesterday about the name of Emma's rabbit, and it is...
Kath's rabbit is called Waffle.
Well remembered. Here we go, the Wimby French girls into the action on round 6, Ray. Over to you.
Yeah, here we go. 22, 21, 13. You can see they're taking the 22 into the tunnel. This is one of my favourite entrances into the tunnel, especially as an outside centre. You've got people hanging onto your legs, and you just got to go straight into the tunnel and keep as low as you can in the airflow. Yeah, nice 13. Nice compress. Build in the middle. There we go. Close to the 22, to the 21, and to the 13. This is a triple blocker, but it does have a considerable amount of flow to it. French girls, they have an alternate with Gail. Pamela is at home. She's not doing too well. She has got a kidney stones, I believe. She had to pull out last minute, but they are doing so well with their alternate. Not the cleanest I've seen them fly, and as you know, Block 13 is now like from 2019 will be out of the dive pool. They have a new Block 13. Massive round of applause from the crowd for that round for the French girls. Fast, but not that clean.
Into the Open now, and a couple of burner rounds yesterday, Ray.
Yeah, there were 2 really fast rounds on the Open, well, for female and Open yesterday, and that was round 4 and 5. And I think the highest scores on round 4 were from Hayabusa with 46 and 54 for round 5.
Incredible. Los Bonitos sound Spanish, with the French.
Exactly. So for those at home, that's 54 points in 35 seconds of working time. So, and this was also not not simply a random draw, it had a random block in it as well. So it's phenomenal flying going on from the top teams and across the board.
Very good morning to Mike Smith, who's joining us on my own Facebook Live. But check out the live stream of the event. You can find that on the Wim Games community Facebook page and on the website of the Wim Games as well. So it's all available for you to be watching.
So the Los Puristos, one of the many French teams that we have in the lineup, are currently in 18th place, 104 points after 5 rounds. So just about that, under that 21 average, which is pretty good for for all these French teams. I mean, the lowest average we have running at the moment is for the Pajama Pumas, and they're on about a 16. Considering they've never done AAA before, I think that's pretty good.
That's a brilliant average. 16 to be doing double figures on your first time is a great average.
It's pretty good. So next into the tunnel, let's see, we should have another French team. This is BR or Bear Force, French team. You can see there the lineup: Jean-Baptiste, Aurélie, Lydia.
With the Intruder suits, the Intruder FS suit, which I have one of those as well. Great bit of kit.
How do they fly?
Brilliant. Really good value as well.
Yeah, that's great. Who makes them, Regan? Do we know?
It's a Hungarian company.
Right.
They're called Intruder.
Okay.
You can check them out on Facebook and on their website as well. And great delivery times and excellent build quality. Fitted straight out of the box.
Excellent. Here we go. It's the 22. Close of the 22. Onto the 21. So Bear Force are currently in 23rd place, averaging on just about 17 average. There we go.
Very good morning to Kirsten Little over in Alaska. I'll see you in Alaska at the Solstice Boogie here as well. Check that out. Have a look at the Facebook page of the Alaska Skydiving Center. Amazing event coming up there in the summer.
That was Bear Force. There's me going BE Air Force for ages, and then I think it was somebody just turned around and said, yeah, no, Ray, that's Bear Force.
Yeah, I just noticed that. Les Four Cretins.
The third French team in the tunnel. The Four Cretins. I think Manu's flying on this team, Manu Sarrazin, as a player coach. And they're currently in 16th place on 106 points. So that's just over a 21 average. If those at home are watching on the live stream and thinking I'm getting my maths wrong or wish to correct me, please let Regan know.
Yeah, we're live to the world on the live stream of the event. I've also got my little Facebook Live going now just for a few moments so people at home can see behind the scenes exactly what goes on. Nice 21s.
Very good. You like a good 21, don't you, Regan?
I do. Good boogie block.
Yeah. Until it goes wrong. There we go. The Four Cretins. Liking this slow-mo that they're showing us on the camera.
Yeah, there's not many tunnel events that have facility for slow-mo. It's an extra bit of kit. It takes an operator to do it. Bolgo, a good friend of mine, is one of the world's best slow-mo operators, does all the Olympics and European Championships and ice bobsleigh, and he was doing the swoop freestyle in Copenhagen last year. Brilliant bit of kit.
Next in the tunnel, we have one of the few Spanish teams here, Team Barak. They are, I believe they train in Ocaña. They're currently on 94 points after 5 rounds, and that's just over just under a 19 average.
Just talking about production values of live stream and action, Ray, we've just been joined on my Facebook Live by Martin, the director of Swoop Freestyle in Copenhagen last year. This guy is a champion of outside broadcast. He does all the Olympics and the bobsleigh and all the winter stuff as well. Good morning, my friend. Hope you're well. That's on my Facebook Live. But the action continues here on the live stream to the world. Over 45,000 people, almost 50,000 people tuned in yesterday for the action. I wonder how many we'll get today.
I'm thinking a few more as the day progresses. That's great from Team Barak. Always smiling. I love this team. To talk about this round being a technical round, it is 3 blocks, as I've already mentioned, but these are like, they're good blocks to have in the tunnel. The block 13, the last block that we have, you have 2 solo flyers on a compressed piece that has to fly in the center of the tunnel. The good thing about doing it in the tunnel is the fact that, you have tunnel walls, so you can't get too far away. It's a bit different out of the sky, so this is it's great to have these 3 blocks together. 21, as Regan's already mentioned, is pretty much a boogie block. You learn it very early on in your skydiving, in your FS journey. And block 22 is always a lot of fun. As you can see, that's turning the cat, tail turning outside center on a cat piece. The normal thing is to say, this is just a close of block 13 now. There we go. Moving into the top of the 22, and you can see tail wearing outside center as a hat. And there's the close. And so far, all of the teams that I've seen from the tunnel teams that have got in straight into the tunnel, all the way down the bottom of the leaderboard coming in, have all executed these block moves really, really well.
Good morning to Ahmed Khan and to Ken Yaden as well, who are checking us out on the Facebook Live.
Hello. Morning, or afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. Okay, so next we have another Spanish team, Papaya Mixto. I do love this entrance into the tunnel. 22s, not taking it linked because they've not had that much training, but pretty much the same idea. See the outside center just coming straight into the tunnel. It's block 21 to block 13. This is one of those things about block 13 is you really want your 2 centers to make sure that piece spins nicely. So this is block 21, not building it very straight, Papaya Mixto, but they're making it rotate pretty well. And you can see there that there's a chance from the end of block 21 into the 13 to not be on and off the grips. So we need to have a decent amount of separation. We're not seeing that from this team at the moment. And those 21s really built offset between the 2 centers. Papaya Mixto. So next in we have Team Odin, Odin Parachute System. And these guys, they're currently 11th on the leaderboard and are just on a 26, just over 26 average. They would be a lot higher up the leaderboard, probably in I imagine 8th or 9th place. They got 7 busts on round 2. They're a really fast team, and they have a 1 female flyer in the point slot you can just see flying now, who's a super fast flyer. But if they just slow things down a little bit, a hair's breadth, I think they're going to be a super team to watch in the future. I mean, as you can tell, right from the get-go, in the door, they're going at full pelter. And I think that's where their busts originated from. It's hard sometimes to get a rhythm until you build a rhythm. And they're going for it. Going for it here as well. They've just got to be careful that they get the separation from the end of the 21 into the 13.
And after their 5th round score, currently in 132 points, 132 for Odin Parachute Systems. They're 8 points above the Wimby Legion and 9 points behind. Sorry, let's check that out again. 5 points behind XL.
Yeah, not many. And, it would have put them above XL and very close to Amnesia if they hadn't got all of those busts on that round 2. But this is definitely a team to watch for the future. Next in, we should have the team from Russia, IFS Moscow.
Currently sitting on 1-5, 3 points, 1 point above Givosh Wimby. That's their overnight score. And 1 point behind Echo Chamber, so there's not much in it for those.
No, there's really not much in it between the Airheads, Echo Chamber, and IFS Moscow, and Gavroche Wimby. I mean, there's literally only 4 points in it between those teams, which is good to see. We've got, as I said at the beginning of this competition, this draw will lend itself quite well to teams that, putting stuff together, not maybe trained, but not that well trained, or maybe old teammates coming together that haven't seen each other in some time, but can fly really well, have decent block technique. And we're seeing that across the leaderboard. These guys are giving us a masterclass in a triple blocker and how it should be done. Really nice closes of everything. The judges, I think, are really going to be looking for the close of this 21 to the 13. Yeah, they're quickly, the centres on the end of the 21 are on and off those grips on the compress to the 13 very quickly. And as long as they're doing that together and they're showing separation, it should be fine. IFS Moscow.
Yeah, big team, big lads taking up a lot of the tunnel there. And yeah, Pajama Pumas, this British team that we were just talking about a few moments ago, certainly sitting at the bottom, 80 points after round 5. That's their overnight score. 5 points behind B4. So a little bit of a fight on Papa Mixo, 86.
Yeah, there is something. There's definitely they've put some points to catch up. But as we keep saying, these guys have never done AAA before, and this is a triple blocker, and you know. It's good to see that they can pull it together. There we go, close of the 13. And are taking it in their stride. You know, it's a fantastic event to come and compete at. You know, you do feel like you're in a, you know, you're rubbing shoulders with some of the world's best flyers, and you're in a giant goldfish bowl, and they're doing amazingly well. There we go. Block 13 is quite a technical block, as I've already mentioned. Well, they're all technical blocks, but definitely block 13. You want that compress. So this is the end of the 21 into block 13. They're out of time. I'll show it on the next one. Next in, I think we have Papaya Masculino, the other military Spanish team.
Sitting at 1, 2, 3, that's their overnight points. 118 behind them for TNN. Tenanine. So there's 5 points difference there for them to keep hold of.
There you go, and they're in. Yeah. Yeah, see, you could just see that confusion there on the compress closed. One of the centres went to look out to pick up the grip from the outside flyer, and unfortunately the piece separated. So got to be careful with the closes of those 13s. Okay.
The sun's starting to rise behind us, Ray. It's the start of a brand new day for everybody here at Ampura Bravo, but we've been here an hour already. It's live action, and yesterday, almost 15 hours to the world. Here we are now at the start of another big, long day of best live tunnel production ever. Wimby Legion sitting, let's have a look where they were overnight, Ray. I'm just going to get on the screen. 124 points out overnight score. 1 point ahead of Papa Maschino and 9 points shy of Odin. And in they go, into the tunnel now. Another one of our great French teams. Looking good.
They are indeed. So now we've got, I believe we have...
Wimby's French Legion.
Yeah, Wimby French Legion. And these guys are doing a good job. They're currently on 124 points after 5 rounds. So that's a 24.8 average, so just under a 25 average. And they're currently in 12th place. So Wimby Legion, I said that they would be French because obviously from the Wimby Tunnel, but actually they have 3 Italian flyers and 1 French flyer. And I got that wrong yesterday. So we won't classify them as a French team. They're definitely an Italian team.
Italianos. Ciao, Dolce Vita.
Did a good job there. Block 13, slow-mo block 13. Giving their tail flyer lots and lots of room there. And this is one of my favourite teams, Team Airheads. These guys are doing an amazing job. They're currently on just...
Yeah, the 156 overnight score, Ray, after 5 rounds. 2 points ahead of Echo Chamber and 4 points shy of Qatar Tigers.
And they're in the tunnel. And I was chatting yesterday to a few people because I haven't seen them fly, and they've been training here for some time in the tunnel here. And you know, currently I mean, I've never seen them before. Maybe that's just me just not paying that much attention. But they've, for me, they've come from nowhere, and they're doing an amazing job. In 5th place, just as you said, Regan, just a few points behind the Qatar Tigers. Amazing to see. Looking forward to seeing what they do outdoors as well. They are a military team, so they should have some funding. So that'll be good to see.
Red suits, not very popular a few years ago when we first went to tunnel competitions. The technology of the cameras made those colours spread out on the image, what we call bleeding in the production. And now with the better cameras, you can see they can get away with it a lot more.
That's right, and there we go, close of the 21. A little bit of momentum there, but as you can see, the outside and inside centres just pushing off each other.
If you just joined us for the very first time, you wonder what you're watching. It's 4-way formation skydiving. They have 35 seconds to perform this routine as many times as possible. And the routine is, Ray?
It's 22, 21, 13. So we just saw Echo Chamber get in there. Not the standard entrance that the other teams have been launching. They turned it on a more of a plane style exit. They turned it 90 degrees. So you didn't have the outside centre coming straight into the tunnel, which is risky. Because you can catch a lot of lift and it'd be hard to start for the tail, who's coming in last, to start the top of that block. But they've done it well on the changing it slightly, and they're going pretty hard.
And so for anybody who's never seen this before, those numbers that you mentioned, what do they represent?
Oh, I can't remember that. So these are actually block names.
No, I don't mean specifically what they are, but the numbers, that's one of the moves, isn't it? We have letters and numbers. Let's really be basic for people who've never seen it before. Let's do that.
So we have 16 what we call randoms, which are the letters in the dive pool that we use. And we have 22 blocks that we have. And the randoms are single points, and they are where everybody separates.
Single moves.
Single moves.
Yes.
Everybody separates, and they pick up another grip.
Yeah.
Block moves tend to be where you could have 2 or 1 or 2 or 3 people join hands and make a move. They will turn a piece, as we call it, and they will combine back with, again, 1, 2 or 3 people.
So an easier way for people to visualize it. A block, a lot of the times, tends to be 2 people doing a 360 turn and 2 other people doing a 360 turn. That's a generalization.
Yeah, there's one way of looking at it. I mean, if people are watching at home at the moment, we have 3 blocks that we're watching in sequence, and you can see that there's 2 pieces there, turning and closing it. And now we have 2 pieces, 1 piece in the center, 2 people on the outside closing it. Again, you can see the same for this. So yeah, you could say it's pretty much what you just said, Regan.
There is exceptions to that. Sometimes you have 3 people moving around and 1 person.
That's right.
Sometimes there's bigger turns. But if you want to give yourself a bit of a rough idea what's going on, the letter formations, that's just everybody letting go and picking up something else. And the block formations tends to be 2 and 2 doing a spin round and joining.
That's right. And obviously, if you've got 2 and 2 or whatever formation you want, whatever orientation it might be in, spinning that block as 2 people, that's why it's called a block, spinning it as 2 people obviously requires a little different inputs, different amount of energy, and rather than just being able to control yourself, you're having to control 2 people. So it's obviously harder to do so.
And then you get the technique and the skill comes in. So instead of separating, doing a turn and coming back, you can take these turns over the top of another one or underneath another one to make the move that little bit smaller and make it faster.
That's correct.
Can we see that happening here?
We can. So this is a 21. You just saw the close of that. If we go to the 13, we're not seeing it here, but it can be done where you can have the outside flyers flying over the top. We should see it now. There you go. You can just see the inside centre going over the top of the outside centre for that 22. 21s as well. Oh, there's some confusion here on the 13. They went anyway. Keep working.
The judges are looking for each of those formations to be complete to press the button to give the score. But when we do these piece turns here, Ray, there's only a certain amount of crossing over they can do. The judges will penalise if it crosses. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So there's the you want to make sure that they don't crossing. I've actually just forgotten the terminology. Like a 6, if you have some sort of blocks, it's like the centre line that we were watching yesterday on the 2-way dynamic.
Yeah.
You don't want to cross into each other's space. If you have 2 pieces that are separating across a line, you don't want them crossing over each other. So
you very rarely see that happening.
Yeah, exactly. You need to have a decent amount of separation. We don't see those busts that often anymore from the nature and the way formations are flown. We do see it with certain blocks, for example, block 1 or block 6, which we'll see coming up later in the draw. We can probably try and point them out then.
Right. And these routines and these different moves, these blocks where we've got these two pieces moving, with wind tunnels now, these teams can practice those individual moves time and time and time again.
They can indeed, and the tunnels used to be used as training tools for the air, and now we're seeing more and more that we're seeing a kind of two disciplines emerging for formation skydiving. You can see that there's a natural a way of entering the tunnel as a team, which would be slightly different from exiting an aircraft. And I think that's why it's creating a certain discipline that we have in formation skydiving. Obviously, you don't have a rig on your back in the wind tunnel. You have less restrictions, so you can fly a little bit more easily in the tunnel than you probably could do in the air. So we're seeing the discipline develop a little bit more for tunnels and then for the air.
And also as well, where, as Ray was saying there, initially wind tunnels were used for these type of events for people to learn how to fly better in the air. We see a lot more people now competing at a higher level who are not skydivers.
That's true. I mean, it's much more accessible at the end of the day. You can get younger people coming to fly in the tunnel, but also, you don't have to, you're not weather dependent. You can just come in and fly in the wind tunnel as long as the tunnel is operational. You can get in and try it, and you don't have the whole issue of putting a rig on, landing a parachute. You can just come in, fly, and it's quicker and probably easier.
And what makes that leading then towards good production value and production for TV, for sponsorship? With a wind tunnel, if you say you're going to start at 9, you start at 9. With a skydiving event outdoor, you can block out an hour of national TV. If it's raining, you haven't got a show. So that's where we start looking at the sponsorship value of wind tunnel events.
So in the tunnel right now, we've got Team XL. This is a UK team, newly formed. Obviously, John and Pete in the centre there have been flying together for many, many years, with AD as well the past year on tail, and then Peter Taff Mathers just joined them as points. And they're giving us a good show of block execution and how it should be done, good separation between the closer of that 21 and the 13, making sure that the judges can see they're all on and off the grips at the same time. Here we go, this is the close of the 21, there you go, good separation. Well, separation because they're out the door.
And coming back from the skydiving side of this type of event, it's one of the oldest types of competition in skydiving. Each individual member has got their place, and they'll stick to that, Ray. We give them names, point and tail, and inside centre and outside centre, and so they will have a certain set of moves they will practice.
Yeah, no, I mean, the thing is, there's so much to learn. We talked about 16 randoms and 22 blocks. What we haven't mentioned is that some of those blocks, to make life interesting, are actually slot switches. So you do actually switch either your front piece, as we like to call them, the front piece that exit the aircraft at the front, or the back piece that exit the aircraft at the back.
And to give you an idea what that means, if you don't have a slot switcher, you'll learn a certain number of moves. With a slot switcher, you can double or treble the amount of moves you have to learn for that one particular bit of competition.
Exactly, yeah, you can have, especially it seems that the front piece have more slot switches than the back piece. And, obviously that means you're seeing different pictures, you have to learn new moves, you have to learn to fly the blocks in the other formation, but also in the other slot, but you're also having to find that you see different pictures. So it's a lot of repetition that you have to complete, and which is why the slot switching blocks are only introduced in the senior draw. There are other ways of entering competition in other draws, like you start with a rookie category, which is just the random formations. Then you start on a single A, as we like to call it, that have 6 blocks or 8 blocks, I can't remember now, the simpler blocks that you can start with, and we introduce more blocks in double A until you get to senior category we're watching right now, where you have the slot switching blocks.
So you can compete when you just learn to skydive. You can then start competing with other people and just doing 3 random moves, 3 formations. That's what the competition would be to start building up to the kind of stuff we're seeing now.
You see Team Tenanin launching that 22 into the tunnel, and there was you can see how tricky that can actually be, because tail was flying in latest, and they do get a little bit of lift on that entrance. And here we go, Team Tenanin. Currently, I spoke to Moulet ahead of this competition, and he was looking for a 23 to 24 average, and they're actually just on that right now.
Yeah, 118, 118 after 5 rounds. That's their overnight score.
Doing really well.
give you another idea of how competition has changed over the last decade or so. You would have found, Ray, maybe 20 years ago at international championships, just over a 20 average would have been taking the win. Now you find, like you said, at the bottom of this pack, that team we've only just started, on a 16 average. That means if you take all the rounds of formation they do, divide it by how many points they've scored. So they're doing about 16, which 20 years ago would have been winning medals.
Exactly, and I remember when I started many years ago, we started an outdoor competition and we went in there going, oh, you know, a 10, 11 point average is going to get us a gold medal. We came 10th.
And now, an international meet, what would be a normal kind of average to win the gold?
I think now it's an outdoor meet is probably about a 24, 25, and an indoor meet, you're looking at, you know, it's anywhere between 32 to 36.
And what are Hayabusa on now? What's their current average after 5 rounds?
They're currently on just over a 36 average.
Incredible, isn't it?
It's amazing, but we did have 2 fast randoms in there. You know, a random type rounds in there.
So quicker points.
Quicker points.
Less turning and spinning.
Rounds 4 and 5. We had 3 randoms and a block. And we had what I like to call a quick block, but it was a slot switching block on round 4. So suits the trained teams like the Hayabusas and the Airspeeds that are out there. But also it was a fast set of randoms, and we had the same in round 5. We had 3 randoms and a random block because it's a very quick block, and that meant that they could score, as we said, they scored 54 points on round 5 Hayabusa.
But it has its own separate challenges, because when you've got these randoms which are just letting go and picking up something else without the turning and spinning, that means there's an opportunity to score a lot more, but then you've got to be synchronized, because if you're picking up when somebody else is not yet ready, or if somebody lets go before all the grips are in place, then you're going to get penalized.
Exactly, and we saw that from some of the teams early on here. We've seen some of the blocks that we've got, so the close of the 21, the boogie block that we like to call. There's some separation issues here into the 13. So here, from Gavroche, from the Real Fly Sion team, we can just see it here. This is a close, start of the 22, close of the 22 to the 21. And you can see that they finish in a compress, the inside and outside center on the close of the 21, but the top of block 13 is also a compress. So they really need to show, here we go, separation between the 2 center pieces, center flyers.
And this is why you'll see a lot of teams wearing black suits and white gloves. It makes it easier for the judges to make sure we've got a full separation of all 4 flyers.
That's right, it's really important to be able to see that, and the best way to be able to see that is to have contrasting colours between suits and your hands.
So like in the dynamic flying, where we have the judges sat outside watching through the windows, it's different here, isn't it, Ray, with the formation skydiving? The judges are actually remote from the tunnel.
That's right. This isn't live judging, unfortunately. This is judging where the judges...
Well, watch the video, watch the replay.
Yeah, they can watch the video, they can see it, they can slow it down as well to make sure, because these teams are flying so fast. I mean, we just talked about it, you know, if you're scoring like 50 points in 35 seconds, it's quick, you know? And we don't really have the technology to see where those grips are on or off, as you do in the dynamic flying with the lasers and the center line and the ring and everything else. We don't have that here. So sometimes the judges, there's only so much your eye can see, so you do need to slow things down, and they do want to get it right. So, you know, for them, it's a little bit harder than to judge than the 2-way dynamic, as we don't have the technology, so therefore they need to have these replays.
And they will be down on remote on the floor below us. That's where they'll be doing the judging.
That's right. They are down there as we speak, I believe. So in the tunnel at the moment, we have the Qatar Tigers, who are currently on a 32 average after 5 rounds. Probably, you know, not had their best meet. I've said this before. I like to see them be able to compete in more competition, but you know. Politically, it's just not been possible at the moment for them.
Just say hello to a few people watching on my Facebook Live. Phoebe, Benedict, Laurel as well over in the States, and Juan Ventura, who used to be a pilot here at Skydiving Pura Brava. If you want to watch the live stream that we're sending out to the world, you can have a look at that on the webpage of Window realfly.com and on the Facebook page as well as the Wind Games community. I've got a few people watching the behind the scenes action on my Facebook Live, and one of them, Laurel, says, bring them on camera. Laurel, this is just our behind the scenes camera of what's happening in the studio. If you want to see the live stream of the action, go to winddoor-freefly.com where you'll see the live stream happening right now.
Airspeed are in the tunnel right now, giving us a masterclass on triple blockers. I mean, we had a triple blocker on round 3, and Airspeed tied with Hayabusa on that one. So their block technique, they're really drilling it. Efficient flying from Airspeed. There you go, you can see that separation from the close of 21 to the 13. Great flying, super, super fast. Amazing to see. I mean, it's one of those things, you know, they're really chuffed with that. There's a massive round of applause from the audience, and I would be pretty pleased with that.
It's a beautiful morning here in Ampere, Brava. The sunrise right now behind us, Ray. I'm just having a look outside in the front of the tunnel area. It's getting full out here, not as packed as it was last night, getting towards midnight, but a lot of people are here. A lot of teams are watching the action. And who's lining up now?
You've got Hayabusa ready to go in the tunnel, taking that nice entrance in. Go, and they're off. Straight out the door. This is probably pretty much, if they don't make any mistakes and they're showing the separation, I imagine Airspeed and Hayabusa will tie this round. And of course, we have another triple blocker coming up again. Really showing those grips there. Big hands out when on the closes. It's really tight, you know, from going from a 21 to a 13. You really need to show that separation, which they're trying to do, but they also want to get on with the round as well and not lose their rhythm. Super fast. This is exactly what I saw yesterday, to be honest. I called it on Airspeed having the triple blocker, but, you know, I proved wrong. They scored an equal amount of points, so I'm going to go the same here. They look really chuffed with that.
A few people watching on my Facebook Live behind the scenes action. A few people are saying, bring the teams on camera. This is not the live stream of the event on the behind the scenes. This is a live stream of the event. We're going to go to the sponsors and we'll be back with more action very shortly.